If you don't prioritize your life, someone or something else will. Greg McKeown. I took a little bit of liberty with that quote. I added the or something else will. Because, my friends, it may not be a person. It may be any number of things. And today, with all the distractions, we waste so much time. Deplug, unplug, deprogram. Spend the time you need on the things you want to have. Nothing about life is really that complicated. Where you are right now is a summation of the decisions you have made in so many circumstances. So, make the decision, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day, spending it with us, charting these markets. It only costs you your time, which in the end is the most valuable thing you have. Now, let's look at these charts. We see everything except gold down for the day. Stocks down some, but bonds way down. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. And of course, we can see where the market over the course of this last week moving down quite strongly. And then, of course, for a day and a half popping up and then down in the afternoon. The STC still heading down, going all the way to the bottom, hoping maybe it'll bounce off over the course of this next week. And again, this is the weekly review and forecast. Well, the forecast portion is perhaps we will see things bounce off this 200 EMA, go from red to green rather, and allow us to jump in. But we need to check where are we on those bigger charts. Well, we've pulled through now the 200 EMA on the 2-day. Now, it could shoot right back through it going up. Good news is the STC is still green. What about the weekly? Same thing. It's weakened. It is a green spinning top. Lots of indecision for the week, but the STC is still heading up, and we're, of course, well above the 200 EMA. So we have possibilities of good things happening. So mark that in your show notes. Get ready over the course of this next week to look for things to potentially bounce up. Go from red to green on the STC on this half-day chart to allow you to jump in. Now let's go to the Qs. A little bit different news here. We're below the 200 EMA, so that means we're in a downtrend when it comes to the half-day chart instead of a potential, well, an uptrend because we would be above it. We are above it on the S&P 500, not here on the NASDAQ 100. We see that the STC is red. Now we look at where we are on the 2-day. It is green, again, but some red down candles there. And of course, when you look at where you are on the EMA, that is the exponential moving average, we're below it. So we're in a downtrend on that 2-day chart. The weekly, little different. Weekly is up. We have that green spinning top again like the STC, and we're going into the 1 to 3rd week after the STC went from red to green, and we're above the 200 EMA. So we've got some possibilities, but we're going to have to clear this 200 EMA. Now, it could move above it. I mean, you could have a shooting up Monday where it pierces it and goes from red to green. And again, as long as the candle's moving through it, you can look at it as an uptrend and jump into it. Not as likely as maybe the S&P turning on us. Now, let's see where we are on 20-year bonds. We're above the STC on the half-day chart. Now, bonds, of course, went down for months and months and months. You'll see that when we get to the bigger charts. Much harder to see on this half-day chart. But we see things really spiking down on bonds, down 2.64% for the day. The big downer. Now, on this 2-day chart, been going up for many, many days after many, many weeks of down movement, and you can see how far below the 200 EMA we are. So again, things pairing off a little bit. Don't have a trade at this point on bonds. Look at where we are on the weekly, and this is where I can really show you where things are on this 200 EMA. There we go. That's the 2-day. Here's the weekly. And again, we've got basically, 4 weeks of up movement, green on the STC, but well below the 200 EMA. So we still have a lot of negativity in bonds as far as where we are on the trend. We're deep into it on both the 2-day and the weekly. We see the half day has shot up above it. Not sure where bonds are going. We'll just have to keep our powder dry and see where the market leads us. Let's go to gold. Gold up for the day. STC still heading down. We're above the 200 EMA. Had this latest fake out in gold, just didn't deliver for us. We're up getting near that territory again. We've cleared this gray area where we've got to see the STC penetrate before we could think about getting into an up move if it goes green. So that's setting up nicely. On the 2-day, we've moved through the 200 EMA there. That's nice. Still green on the STC. What about the weekly? That's looking nice. We actually hit a little bit higher high during the course of the week, and it's green on the STC. So the candles are all working for us. Are we going to see things go from red to green? Is it going to really punch up strong for us? Maybe gold just needed to blow off some energy and move back up. Put that down in your show notes. Be looking for that next week. So when it comes to those first big four ETFs, the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, and gold, make sure you're looking for potential trades over the course of this next week for you to practice trade the S&P 500. If it goes from red to green on the STC on the half-day chart, and gold, same thing. Maybe it'll happen. We'll be waiting, watching, seeing. If you're with us every day, you'll watch us pulling the trigger on a practice trade if that occurs. What about Bitcoin? Flat for the day. Bitcoin still sucking a lot of wind. Well, it's below the 200 EMA. On this half-day chart, we go to the 2-day chart. And, of course, we've had a few days of up movement, sort of peaking out about the same area here for a while. And we look at where we are on the weekly. And, again, if I bring this in for you, and tighten it up a little bit, I mean, you can see just how much we've gone down. Just starting in November when this ETF was established, I mean, just lots of down movement, lots of bleeding. If you stayed in Bitcoin during all this in a practice trade, I'm worrying about your sanity because it has just gotten crushed. Now, at some point, market capitulation will occur, and probably things will stabilize and move up and maybe give us the ability to jump back into some successful practice trades again. We shall wait, we shall watch, we shall see. That's where we are, folks. You appreciate what we do. Become a Patreon supporter. Send out the weekly vertical crossovers. Hope our Patreon members did some practice trades on those weekly vertical crossovers. I will let the Patreon members know that I have something interesting to share with you. I'm not as conversant with TradingView as I am with, of course, our old standby TC2000, but I have set up the old chart for you with the price percent oscillator, the derivative oscillator. We even have the ATR on here. For those of you who are Patreon members that would like a copy of this so you can trade the weekly vertical crossovers and the 2-day recrosses on TradingView, I've set you up a nice chart. I even put volume in there, which I don't usually have up, but even have that in there for you. I love volume. So if you are a Patreon member, and I do give you access to my page, it is open, you will see the price percent oscillator file there, this layout, and you are welcome to it. If there's some other way I can email it out or get it to you, I haven't discovered how that works yet on TradingView. Unlike what I could do at TC2000, I will send it to anyone who wants it. It is a great chart, and I would like for any and everyone to have it. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.